Elle, I am so excited to have you on. You've built something really special with Solly Baby, with motherhood, life, creativity, and now you've got your new podcast and web series, Down the Well, and you're diving into this deeper transformation of motherhood, which is incredible. So I'd love to just start with where are you at right now? You've got an 18-year-old all the way up to a 16-year-old. What has this phase of motherhood been like for you?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. That was really a nice intro. Yeah. Okay. So my youngest is 8, and then my oldest is 16. So yeah, where am I at right now with motherhood?
Uh-huh.
I think this is kind of a sweet spot, but a little bit scary coming into all of these teenage years. We had my third child. We just had her birthday party this last weekend, and my husband strung together all these home videos of her, like from her
Oh,
life, and we watched it, and it was like,
that's
this is just so
amazing.
fast. It's just so fast. And then we're like, it's just the most cliche thing that you can say, and it's still just so real. Or like those baby years just felt like they were never going to end, and now feels like I'm just trying to slow it down and hold on to it before
Hmm.
they're all gone, which sounds dramatic with an 8-year-old, but it you just you have older kids now, and it just goes super fast. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's fun though. At the same time, it's so fun where their personalities are all more developed. They don't need me in the same ways. It's
Yeah.
so amazing to see them become really more of themselves. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
You mentioned that like they don't need you as much. And that's something I just had lunch with a friend and we were just talking about that, which it's great and that's what you want. But we were saying, I feel like I don't quite know my identity in that yet. There'll be just moments when everyone's out of the house and you're like, well, who am I and what do I do in this time? Have you felt that at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, even last night, so my oldest just got her license. And so she took all the kids had like a church activity last night, all different groups, and she took them all. So I was just home. And there's this feeling of like, should I be there? Like, I don't not like mom
Yeah.
guilt, just like, am I should I still be there because I could be, but they don't need me? But like,
Hmm.
am I think it's a time of reflection of like what they of course do need me still,
Yeah.
and more so in more emotional ways. And so how can I make sure that I'm like really here and present for that and not just totally letting them go? It's easy with my oldest
Hmm.
having her license. Like a couple nights she missed family dinner this week, and I'm like, okay, no, we're not. Like, yeah, some nights, but also how can I make sure that I am giving them what they need while
Yeah.
also letting them go out into the world? I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've written about how it feels like one phase of your family is ending and a new one is beginning. So, what does that transition feel like for you? Just emotionally and then practically as well.
It's interesting on the down the well, I talk about kind of the death and rebirth of every day, of just identity in general as our
Yeah.
kids grow. Like you have to allow for the first start of something new, something's got to die. And that there is a grief to that for sure.
Mm.
And I feel that with these, with them of like, and then, and it's hard to not go, okay, was I there enough? Was I like, did I savor it enough? Like all of those things that are kind of pointless because what am I going to do
Right.
now? Like it's just a different phase, but you have to allow for that grief,
Hmm.
I think, of, yeah, it's a really, really special, really hard phase of life with those younger kids. And so, yeah, grieving that and also like not missing the current phase that we're in.
Yes.
There's a balance, there's a fine line of like, yeah, that's sad. And also look at these amazing human beings in front of me right now. How can I like, if I do have any regrets, how can I maximize on that time now with
Yeah.
them and let go of some of the things that don't matter. I had a friend that's a life coach last year. She told me, she's an older I mean, her kids are all adults, some of them married. And she said, you know how they say that with kids, like you got to let just 80% go, like choose your battles, let 80% go, only worry about the 20%. And I was like, yeah, that's why, like now though, it's like they're coming into these teenage years and I want to like make sure that I gave them everything they needed and teach them all the things. And she was like, oh, no, 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 no. She's like, now it's 90%. Now you let go of 90%. She's like, that's not it. This is not your last chance. They're going to come back around if you can stay in relationship with them now. And so if you can even let go of more. Anyway, I've been thinking about that with, coming into this new phase of like, instead of, oh, I just like want to smother you. How can I actually just let go of more, trust you more while still being there? Anyway.
That is really good. That's definitely something to think about because I can tell, as you start to they get older and you have less, it's easy to want to like cling on to more.
I can feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. You and your family, you've been so intentional about experiences. So how has that shaped like your approach to this phase with your kids?
Oh, it's such a good question. It's so nice. Your questions are so nice. Like so thoughtful. I am like a project-based learner. I am an experience junkie. That's kind of how I experience time is like, what is the next experience? What is this not as much in a linear chronological way and more like, from project to project. So I think about it even probably more so as projects with our family rather even than like experiences. So that's one part of me. It's like, what are all the projects like life skills and things that I want that my husband and I really want them to learn and do? And then there's also like the travel side of like, what do I want them to be exposed to in the world? And I think at the end of the day, Jared and I are like, how can we give them as much exposure to like truth and beauty and goodness, like fill them up with that? Because there's not in a way of like shielding them from all the bad, but that all just comes. But how can we just build them up so through experiences now, so that when all of that comes, as it surely does and already has, of course, life comes. Can they have that kind of foundation to stay aligned with themselves and with God and all the things?
Yeah. Are your kids homeschooled?
So we've done all the things. So
Okay.
I mean, like this, I'm sitting in this barn and this is like our homeschool classroom that now is a studio for me, but it has another room and that's still a classroom over there where we have a co-op here on our
Oh,
property.
wow.
Like, so we do like a homeschool co-op here with 8 other families. And then that's my younger girls. We used to have a teacher that would come and we had like 30 kids here. We've done all the things. We've done private school. We've done charters. I just kind of, like I was saying, like project based, literally every year we're like, okay, so what does everybody need this year? And we live in Southern California where there are a lot of drawbacks educationally, but also a lot of choices. And so my older two, my 8th grader and sophomore, are at a charter high school and middle school this year. But next year, they want to homeschool again. And so I think my oldest, she'll probably do a graphic design program, maybe a culinary program. My younger is like really into surfing. And so doing more, surf competitions and stuff and homeschooling there. So I'm like, do we homeschool? I don't feel like we're home that much, and it's just kind of year by year, we've looked at what resources do we have and what's available, what opportunities are there, which is so like, oh my gosh, like, did anybody ask you growing up what you wanted to do for school?
No.
Once?
And I was about to say, this is the tale of a homeschool mom. I've been one and so many friends, and it's just even month by month sometimes like, okay, is this working? I love that. I listened to your first on Down the Well. It was so good. But on it, you talked about how we've lost something in our culture when it comes to the way that we view motherhood. And you kind of contrast this like victim narrative with the hero's journey. And I really loved it. But can you kind of explain that here?
I would love to. So, there's the Joseph Campbell's hero's journey that a lot of us have heard of like, you get a call to adventure. I mean, I don't need to walk you through all the steps, but basically that is a way to frame life and our experiences is that we constantly are being offered different calls to adventure, whether that's a challenge, whether that's a job opportunity, whatever. And then how we follow that through with that is what, creates either our hero's journey or we don't take that and we
Mhm.
slowly kind of shrivel up. and
Yeah.
and so that's a more common narrative and framework to how to see of a way to see life. But one that I was really struck by in a book by Lisa Marchiano, who's a Jungian analyst, called Motherhood, Finding and Facing Yourself, is the mother's hero's journey, where it's just a little bit different in that instead of going out and slaying these dragons and our hero's journey was just kind of the visualization for Joseph Campbell's, it's like this internal falling down down the well internally and as mothers, and that when we have kids, whether that's like at birth or pregnancy or just a hard phase or a hard moment. I mean, I think we fall down the well all the time in motherhood. It puts us down into the darkness. We're all of a sudden down into this unknown land. And we're like, where are we? And how we approach those challenges are what determines that's what determines if we grow and come back with
Mhm.
like treasures basically when we reemerge, or if we come back with curses or like, resentment, bitterness, these negative things that actually stunt our growth. So we have this opportunity for growth, and we can make this hero's journey out of it, or we can make a victim's journey out of it. And I think that culturally right now, we're being influenced a lot more heavily by voices that are telling us that motherhood is hard and it shouldn't be so hard, and somebody should save us from the hard. And I think that we should have support and resources and ask for all the help. But I think it is very damaging to frame the challenges of motherhood in a way that make us victims, because
Yeah.
we aren't able to glean all of the growth that's available to us through this journey. And it's not just about our kids and their growth, it is our own as well. I think it's both at the same time. And that's like the most amazing, beautiful thing. But I think we're losing that narrative. And that really was a catalyst for starting the show, is
Mm.
just working with so many mothers through Solly Baby and just being a mom. Like, this feels really, really important that we're not kind of like deceived in this way.
Yeah. Wow, so good. Let's dive into that a little bit more because our culture has kind of moved towards seeing motherhood as something to survive instead of something that's transformative. Let's talk more about that because I think that you're so right, and a lot of us are feeling that.
Yeah, I mean, I say this a few times on like every episode that like 40 or 47% of young people don't want to have kids. And I just think that that's such a testament to how motherhood is being framed, that
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the whole problem, but I think that because we are younger people are not seeing these transformations in their parents that are available to them. I'm not saying every parent, but I'm just saying in general. And even maybe not even that, maybe just in popular culture of how it's framed. It's just like, yeah, it's the thing that you survive. It's going to kill your creativity. It's going to kill your sex life. It's going to kill everything. But like, maybe it's worth it. But then you see all of these young people also like not talking to their parents and cutting everybody off. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And I just believe that there is so much transformation available to all of us through motherhood, but it's all about how we approach it.
Mm.
And if we, like Lisa Marchiano says, if we can approach it with that open-heartedness, humility, curiosity, industriousness, like these qualities that really serve us, then I think I have found my greatest transformations in life. It's not through Solly Baby, it's not through growing business, it's through it. The biggest ones have been through having kids and
Yeah.
my motherhood. I'm not saying that's for every person, but I think it's for a lot of us.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we're missing it, or we're surviving through it when that's available to us. I don't know. Do you think so? Has that been your
Yeah.
experience?
That has been my experience, but also part of my experience has been there have been things that have held me back from experiencing those transformative qualities, like the curiosity and the creativity. You can lose those things if you are living in like fear or guilt or shame. Like those things will stop you from
Oh, yeah.
transforming. And then you can't think creatively or uniquely. You're just thinking like, I haven't done this well enough. I'm not good enough to do this. And those things will hold you back from that process really changing you. So
Oh,
I don't know.
I
For
could
me, it's been
not
like
agree more.
having to work through things that were false to be able to follow what's true and to be like brave and transform and change and to enjoy it. Yeah.
And that is a part of that journey. So I think for mothers who find themselves right in this part of the journey where you are overcoming fear and doubt and you're wondering if you're actually overcoming it or not, like just keep going because it's a part
Yeah.
of it. Oh yeah, it didn't all get like wrapped up with a bow on it this month or this year even,
Yeah.
right? And like we just don't have a lot of patience for delayed harvests either, right? It's just like we want if I am having a terrible year, that's like, I'm just doing something wrong. It's like, or not. This is a part of this like huge, your hero's journey is over 10 years, this part of it. Right. And again, not to say don't get help, don't try to find the resources, don't be a martyr, but also like, no, this is probably a part of a bigger tapestry. And we're just seeing one part of it.
Yeah. Wow, so good. For moms listening who feel like they've lost themselves, like they're just surviving in motherhood, what's the first step you would say in like reclaiming that transformative process?
Man, Lisa's book might be the best place to start.
Yeah.
It really is. I wish I had it right here. I'm sure I do somewhere. But yeah, Motherhood, Finding and Facing Yourself, Lisa Marciano. I mean, it's all about identity. But I think that really the first part is trust, is reframing it. It's just as a life coach too, it's just such a powerful practice of reframing of like, maybe get curious. Curiosity, I think, is an emotion that is often available to us when nothing else positive is. That's can usually be the bridge emotion that can bring us to more positive emotion without
Yeah.
like toxic positivity or something. Does that make sense? It's like, let's
Yeah.
just get curious about this situation. Maybe it's not as bad as I think, or maybe it is, but there's purpose in it.
Mm.
The meaning of sacrifice is to make sacred in like Latin or Greek or Hebrew, one of those. Lisa talks about that as well. But really the sacrifices that you're making, like instead of feeling like this is I think that that's what makes it so hard in those moments as a mom, especially a young mom, where you really are giving everything. Like I just heard that 20% of your bone density goes down. Like you lose 20% bone density with each kid. I'm like,
Oh
that's
my
actually
gosh.
scary. Like
I'm
you're literally
frail.
right. We're giving them, and now we're also concerned about bone density and muscle mass. I'm like, that's scary. Anyway, you're giving so much, but how the thought of like, I'm giving so much and it like for what? That is a very depressing thought. And you think about the action that you're going to take coming from that space. It's not going to be the best action. And the results that you're going to then, create in your life are not going to be very, very
Yeah.
stellar. Whereas like, yeah, this is super hard but it matters. It
Yeah.
matters. Like, I'm just trusting that this process, like, I had these babies for a reason. They're here for a reason. I'm in this role. I chose this role as a mom, or
Uh-huh.
even if I didn't initially, I'm choosing it now because I'm showing up every day. Like, and then, yeah, like starting from that place of curiosity of playing with some of those thoughts, it can just be, I think, can be so I don't know, so helpful in the place to just start messing with these kind of fixed neural pathways of like, this is just hard. I don't know myself anymore. All is lost.
Yeah.
It's like maybe I'm in the cocoon right now and
Mm.
there's a transformation, like the next butterfly. I would never want to go back to like my younger self. I loved those
No.
phases, but would you?
No. No.
No. No, thank you.
I guess sometimes I would like to go back if I could go back with like the wisdom and what I've learned now and take that back with me.
Right? Yeah. I'll take some parts of back then,
Yeah.
but not if
Yeah.
I can't take the brain.
Yeah. So good. You started Solly Baby with $50 and a Craigslist searcher? Is that what
Yeah.
it's? Okay, I
So
didn't
like,
even know what
the
that
edging?
was.
Well, like the edging, I'm trying to
Yes.
see of it any of my clothes, like it
Oh,
serges the edges. So I
okay.
had a sewing machine, but for the wrap, you needed the edges serged so that
Okay.
fabric wouldn't fray. that makes sense.
Amazing. So you started it while you were pregnant with your second, and then how did you know, like, this is the space I need to go into? And then how did you see your life transform from that?
Just those little inklings, the little bits of
Yeah.
creativity. I think that's something that's often underestimated in motherhood is how much creativity is available to us, not like, postpartum for a lot of us that we was just wiped out for a while,
Yeah.
right? But also it's like really motherhood really showed me that I had much greater capacity than I thought I did. And that's the great thing about going through hard stuff, right? Is you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, okay, I made it. Like, even if I didn't like kill it, I made it. I'm still
Yeah.
here. And so pregnant with the second baby, I was just like, I know that I can do more now. And so what do
Yeah.
I want to do with that? And it wasn't like I had this big vision of this big multi-million dollar company or anything. It was like how I would literally write down how many reps do I have to sell to cover our rent. Like, our rent was like $600 in Salt Lake City
Uh,
at the time. My husband was still in school. And yeah, how many wraps would that be? I don't know. I was selling them for, I don't very small profit margin at the time. But yeah, just selling them on Etsy. So it's just little bits. And then I was like, oh, everybody thinks conceptualizes those things differently. And how I am kind of a visionary person that I can see big picture, but I don't see the biggest picture. I'm a little bit more like the next 2, 3 years kind of person. And so, and then I just, yeah, just kept
and
acting on those little things.
okay. Did it take off fairly quickly?
No, no. I
Okay.
mean, yes, in that like I work with a lot of startups and we're like 5 years. You got to give any startup 5 years.
Okay.
But and it was faster than that. It was really like 3 years from that pregnancy. Do you like measure everything by pregnancies and your kids' ages?
Uh-huh.
Pregnant with Solomon, that's when I started. And then literally like a week before I gave birth to Francis, who's 3 years younger, I was like, okay, this is gonna work. Like there was a launch
Amazing.
that week, and I was like, it wasn't because like we hit even $1 million or anything, and then it was just like this is a viable business, and I can like exhale a little bit.
Okay.
Like I don't have to work so hard for every single sale. Things are like flowing. We have a brand,
I love
so.
that. That must have felt very good.
I was like sobbing, driving
Uh,
pregnant, listening to Bob Dylan on the freeway, just like windows down, just like the launch, saw the numbers coming. I was like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me happy. Did you ever struggle with the tension of balancing growing business and then raising these young ones?
Yeah, for sure. For
I
sure.
know
I think at
people
every
throw that
stage.
balance word around a lot, and it's not really that feasible, but
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking in another interview recently about this that like I think that yeah, it's not I mean balance is the word that we think of, but it is more about I frame it more as like priorities. I'm like, okay, I
Mhm.
have these few priorities. When it really gets messed up is when I bring other people's priorities into my priorities that are like not a thing. Like when I was, a younger mom, I didn't go to park days. I didn't do I was like, well, this is what like young moms, this is what new moms do. You like go to the music classes with them and this and that. I was like, we go to factories. That's what we do. We go to selling factories in downtown LA. Like, that's what we do. That's our field trip. And
Yeah.
so, but when I would start bringing in not my kids' things, but like the way when I'd start bringing other people's expectations or what I thought I should be doing, that's when my balance gets thrown off
Yeah.
where I'm just like, stop trying to do all the things. There are only a few things that I really care about. Got to let go of everything else.
Yeah. Did your husband step in and work with you from the beginning or
No, he
once
was
it
really,
became something?
yeah, he was really hesitant too. I think that we had the I don't know, blessing that like he was some people when they're starting a new business, they're like leaving corporate jobs and all of
Yeah.
like the stability and health insurance. We didn't have that anyway. He was still in
Yeah.
school, so it's not like we had to like take this big leap, but for him to decide not to go to grad school and join me, well, that was a big decision, especially because he was really worried that that would just put more pressure on me. It was like, okay, all the eggs are in this basket now, and he's like, this is
Right.
you connecting with these moms, like I can't do that. And so how can I help? And I really respect him for that. I'm grateful that he did
Yeah.
it because it did take that focus of like our whole family
Mm.
to be able to grow it. And he took a back seat in a lot of ways professionally. And, it worked for us, but definitely
Yeah.
plenty of points of tension of like, how does this actually work? And what's his role and what's my role? And
Yeah.
yeah, but it just looked like everything else looked different at different phases. And we were really connected in terms of our vision usually for our family and lives. And
Uh-huh.
so we're always able to, I don't know, make our way through it, but it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. So you and your husband, you sold the majority share in 2021, I believe. So what's that been like to step back from something that you built for so long and step onto a new path?
Yeah, it just felt right. Just felt right. But I don't even
Good.
know how else to say it except that. And feel like there was a little bit of a runway for me pulling back more and more. But so that part has felt good and right. But then the part of like, okay, now what do I want to create? Do I just want to like totally just focus on kids and being at home? And that has been trickier of like, what does that look like now? What does this next iteration look like? And it is easy in those times to just want to fall back on the last iteration, right? But like there
Yeah.
has to really be a death there for that rebirth again. And so, but at the same time, I am still involved there. So I'm on the board, I still am part of the company. I've stepped in before to help in different capacities. I was CEO for a little bit.
Okay.
Again, so that like just adjusting to that change has definitely taken several years. And it's never as fast as we want it to be, where it's like, I'm like, yeah, but I can just create new vision and a new me like overnight. Let's just do that. And, that's just not how it works usually.
Yeah.
So I've had to come to terms with that. Like this may take a decade, and
Yeah.
that's okay. That's got to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Big change of subject here into something hard. I know you lost your brother last year, and I'm so sorry for that. And then
Mhm.
grief, that shifts our perspective on nearly everything. So, how has that loss just changed you and the way you see your life?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's like, there are moments like with kids, where you're like, nothing will ever be the same.
Yeah.
And that's just nothing will ever be the same for sure. But also, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. It's like amazing to see how much our spirits want to heal if we will just let them. And there are things that will just always be hard. And but also the contrast is greater of like, when you feel new depths of pain, you're also like new depths of joy are available too. So that has surprised me.
Yeah.
Because I think, anybody that's had like really sudden, really tragic loss like that, it's like there's just a part of you that's like, can I ever be really happy again? Like
Yeah.
I think that's the scariest thought is like, is this just like life is over now? And I think that, I mean, coming back to down the well, it's like, yeah, it could be if you let it.
Right.
You could just be in darkness forever. There's enough pain there that it's
Yeah.
like you could just be in an unknown dark land forever and create all sorts of hell for yourself,
Yeah.
like new forms. um, and those are defining moments where you're just like, okay, I can't let this swallow me up. And I'm grateful for faith and a lot of other things that have helped facilitate in that healing. And everybody has found different ways. I've been close to him. We're close to him to facilitate that healing. But yeah, I'll never be the same. And it's still so, it's a year and a half ago. So it's still fresh enough that you're like, how does it continue to shape my life? And like, I don't know if I have enough distance from it to fully perspective yet, but
Yeah.
those are
Yeah,
some
thank you
bits, I
for
guess.
sharing that.
Yeah.
You're in a new season now, and like we've talked a lot about that, stepping out of Solly and kids getting older, and even just what you just mentioned, like you'll never get to go back from that point. So, what's lighting you up now? What's next for you? What are you being curious about?
Oh man, I'm curious about so many things right now. It's so fun for Down the Well to like, I don't know if you have this with this show. I'm sure you do, where you're just like, I just want to learn about this thing. So now, yeah,
Yeah.
that's like, I have my work is to like study this thing. And so, like, I sit here and for, on my work days for like 8 hours, I was just like, hey, I am just not moving until I like have written out a script and studied and researched and like, and then that is so fun for me now. And it's so fun starting a project like this later in life, where normally like Solly Baby, part of the reason it worked is because I was so obsessed, where it's just like, that's what I'm thinking about and talking about with everyone. And it's like family and Solly Baby, that was it. And now it is nice to be in a place where like when I check in to it, I'm obsessed. And then I just like,
Oh, love
okay,
it.
and now I'm done. I don't know. Have you experienced that now, like doing a project later in life where you're like, okay, this is, I don't know, that separation is a little
Yeah.
bit easier? I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have. I'm trying to like really think because I feel like my journey into like starting Not Young and this podcast has been like up and down. Like there's been moments where I've just been all in and like that's all I can think about and I'm obsessed and I'm like you, I'm just the most curious individual. So I just like love like any part of being an entrepreneur is just all about being curious and willing to learn. So like I'm very content to do all of that and love it. And then something will happen over here in like the motherhood realm. And then I'll just be like, I don't know. It's like this thing that clicks in, and I'm like, well, I cannot be doing this. And they
Oh,
need
yeah.
everything I have. And so I found myself like, I feel like I'm on a teeter totter.
Okay, I do feel that too.
Okay.
Definitely where I'm like, it kind of scares me how much I'm able to check out of one or the other. I'm like,
Yes.
wait a minute, what am I doing? Like, come back to reality. And then it's like, no, that is like actually the work of being present. And now can I just like build more trust in myself that like I will come back to this other thing and I'm never going to neglect my kids.
Yeah,
If they need me, I'm going to be there.
of course.
Also, when I have this designated work time and when I am here, I'm here and I can be all in, and that is enough. And it does take some reminding and building trust, I think, in myself, that like in confidence of like, no, it really is enough. Like you don't have to hustle so hard to like make your efforts worthy enough, you know?
Yeah, so well said. Where can listeners find you? Like, how can they listen to Down the Well? How can we support you? Like, we're all huge fans, so we're behind you
So nice.
100%.
So nice. I think YouTube is the most fun place to watch it. I don't know. I know that like
Okay.
a lot of women are going for I love podcasts too. But I think the visual element is not like because you need to look at my face. Not saying anybody needs more of my face, but it is, yeah, I think that YouTube is just that's the platform that I'm thinking of when I'm creating, when I'm
Yeah,
filming and writing. And so I think it's best suited for YouTube, but also podcasts are easy. You just press play and you can
exactly.
put the headphones in and just get going. So I am not, I mean, I'm on Instagram too. I'm on Substack doing those things. But
Okay.
yeah, I think YouTube and Substack are probably the best places now.
Okay. Amazing. I'll link all that down below so everyone can go find you and support you. It was really such a pleasure to have you here. I feel like I personally got so much out of it and you spoke to my heart in so many places. I even wrote down a quote that you said in one of the pages of my outline that I want to come back to. So really
That
enjoyed
is
it.
so
Thank
nice.
you.
No, thank you so much for having me. You were just like the loveliest person and your questions were so thoughtful. It really is just so fun to talk with you. Thank you.